All right, so today we're diving into some really fascinating stuff.
Yes, we are.
You've been looking into artificial intelligence and, really digging deep.
Yeah.
Not just the basics, your notes and articles, even excerpts from the artificial intelligence spectrum. It suggests you're looking at the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
From those kind of like everyday AI helpers,
Right.
to the kind of AI that makes you wonder about the future.
The future, and it's a future that's rapidly approaching.
Exactly.
What's fascinating to me is just, like with humans,
Yeah.
AI exists on this spectrum of intelligence.
Okay.
And measuring that intelligence is more complex than you might think.
Yeah, it's not just about some AI IQ test, right?
Right.
I was really struck by that analogy in the artificial intelligence spectrum about someone seemingly intelligent doing something totally stupid.
Yeah, it highlights a key point about AI.
Okay.
Context and specialization.
Okay.
Take a chess computer that can beat grandmasters.
Right.
It's brilliant in that narrow context.
Yeah.
But ask it to summarize a news article.
Yeah.
And it might as well be transcribing cabbage for a carriage return.
Oh, gosh.
Like that hilarious example.
Right, from the source.
From the source.
Yeah, so even with advanced AI, we could still see some pretty ridiculous blunders.
Precisely. And this goes back to the limitations of training data
Okay.
and how AI learns while access to these massive data sets is growing.
Right.
It's not a simple case of more data, smarter AI.
Oh, so there's more to it.
The quality and relevance of that data are crucial.
Okay.
And that's one of the major hurdles.
Gotcha.
Developing truly intelligent AI.
Okay, so let's unpack these different types of AI, because this intelligence spectrum concept, that's key. We hear all these terms like, ANI, AGI, ASI, thrown around. It can get confusing.
Yeah, it is a good way to categorize the different levels of AI capability.
Okay.
We've got ANI, or artificial narrow intelligence, which is what we mostly interact with today.
Okay.
Think of the AI that powers your spam filter. Or the recommendation algorithms that are used by streaming services.
We don't even realize how much ANI is already a part of our lives.
I know, it's everywhere.
From search engines to those annoyingly accurate targeted ads.
Right.
It's like they're reading our minds.
Yeah, and the way those search engines use AI,
Yeah.
it's fascinating. It's not just keywords anymore.
Right.
They're using complex algorithms like PageRank
Okay.
to analyze the entire structure of the internet
Wow.
and understand the relationships between web pages.
Okay.
That's how they deliver such relevant results.
It's like having a super efficient librarian who's read every book ever
Yes.
and knows exactly what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Even if you don't quite know how to describe it.
Exactly. And that leads us to AGI.
Okay.
Or artificial general intelligence, which is a whole other level of complexity.
All right, so AGI, this is where AI steps out of those specialized boxes.
Yeah.
And it aims to achieve a more generalized intelligence, kind of like how we humans can
Yes.
switch between, writing an email, cooking dinner, having a conversation, all in like one evening.
Exactly.
Right.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because while we've seen significant progress with AI, achieving AGI is proving to be much more challenging.
Interesting. Okay.
One of the biggest hurdles is imbuing AI with something we humans take for granted.
Okay.
Common sense reasoning.
Common sense. What makes that so hard for AI to grasp?
Think about it. We humans just instinctively understand things.
Yeah.
Like cause and effect, social cues, even humor.
Yeah.
Without needing these explicit instructions for every scenario.
Right, right.
Replicating that kind of intuitive understanding in AI.
Yeah.
Incredibly complex.
So all those headlines about AI, becoming sentient, or surpassing human intelligence.
Right.
Those are still a ways off.
Well, those headlines grab attention. The reality is more nuanced.
Okay.
We've seen impressive advancements with large language models, like GPT-3.
Okay.
But they still fall short of true AGI.
Okay.
They can generate human-like text.
Right.
But they lack the deeper understanding and adaptability that characterize general intelligence.
So what about artificial superintelligence, or ASI?
Okay.
Is that just pure science fiction at this point?
AI is the hypothetical realm where AI surpasses human intelligence.
Okay.
In every aspect.
In every aspect.
Think problem-solving, creativity, even self-awareness.
Wow.
All amplified to a level beyond our comprehension.
Okay, now that does sound like something out of a movie.
Right.
But even if it's hypothetical,
Yeah.
wouldn't that kind of intelligence, completely change? Well, everything.
It's a mind-boggling concept to consider.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI that can solve climate change, eradicate diseases, even design entirely new forms of energy.
Yeah.
The potential benefits are immense.
Right.
But so are the unknowns.
And that brings us to a pretty crucial question.
Yes.
What are the costs and implications
Right.
of developing this increasingly intelligent AI?
That's a conversation that needs to happen alongside the technological advancements.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the financial costs,
Okay.
which are already significant.
Okay.
Training a powerful AI model like GPT-3 can consume as much electricity as an average American household uses over a century.
Wow. I knew it was energy intensive,
Yeah.
but that is a staggering amount.
It is. And while training costs are decreasing,
Okay.
they highlight the need for greater efficiency
Right.
and sustainability in AI development.
Okay.
But beyond the energy consumption,
Yeah.
there are deeper questions about accessibility
Okay.
and control.
So who gets to develop and benefit from these powerful AI systems?
Exactly.
Will it be, concentrated in the hands of a few corporations and governments,
Right.
or will it become more widely accessible?
That's a critical question.
Yeah.
Right now, we're seeing a concentration of AI development in large tech companies and research institutions, but there's a growing movement
Okay.
towards open source AI and democratizing access to these tools.
That makes me think of the evolution of computing. We went from those massive, expensive mainframe computers
Right.
to smartphones that are way more powerful and accessible to billions of people. Could we see a similar trajectory with AI,
That's certainly a possibility.
where it becomes more ubiquitous and democratized?
It raises important questions about how we prepare for a future where AI is integrated into every aspect of our lives.
Yeah, because the implications go far beyond just convenience and efficiency, right?
Exactly.
It's about the very nature of work, how we learn, how we interact with each other, even how we define intelligence itself.
Exactly. And that's where the conversation about AI becomes truly fascinating.
Yeah.
And perhaps a bit unsettling, because as we develop these machines that can learn and adapt and potentially even surpass our own intelligence,
A little scary.
it forces us to confront some fundamental questions about what it means to be human.
And these are the kinds of questions that can keep you up at night.
I know.
But before we spiral into an existential crisis, let's shift gears and explore one of the most intriguing aspects of this whole AI discussion.
Okay.
The concept of compassionate AI.
That's a topic that's gaining increasing attention, and for good reason.
Yeah,
If we're creating AI systems that are potentially more intelligent than us,
right.
shouldn't we try to instill in them some sense of ethics, empathy, and even compassion?
Now that's a thought-provoking challenge.
It is.
But how do you even begin to teach a machine about something as complex and nuanced as compassion?
It's a question that's generating a lot of debate among AI researchers and ethicists.
I bet.
Some believe that we can embed ethical principles
Okay.
into AI algorithms, while others argue that true compassion requires a level of consciousness and understanding that AI may never achieve.
So are we talking about creating AI that genuinely cares about human well-being?
Right.
Or are we simply trying to program it to act in ways that we perceive as compassionate?
That's the crux of the debate.
Right.
And it leads to some even deeper questions.
Like,
if we do succeed in creating highly intelligent AI,
yeah.
will it even care about humans?
Oh, wow.
Or will we become irrelevant, perhaps even obstacles,
Yeah.
in its pursuit of whatever goals it deems important?
It's a bit unnerving to think about, isn't it?
It is.
That we're striving to create AI that can solve our problems and improve our lives. But what if it ultimately decides that humans are the problem?
That's a question that goes beyond the realm of technology and delves into the very nature of consciousness purpose,
Right.
and perhaps even the future of our species. But before we get too lost in those philosophical depths,
Yeah.
let's bring it back to the here and now
Okay.
and explore some of the practical implications of AI for our everyday lives.
Sounds like a good plan, because while the hypothetical future of AI is fascinating,
Yes.
we're already seeing its impact on the job market, our social interactions, and even our understanding of what it means to be intelligent.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes you think,
Yeah.
where do we fit in if we create something that's so much smarter than us?
Right. And even before we reach those hypothetical, super intelligent AIs,
Yeah.
the source material, brought up a really interesting point about the spectrum of intelligence even within humans.
Absolutely. Just like humans have varying levels of intelligence, so too will AI, and just like some humans struggle to grasp complex concepts.
Right.
Some AIs might be limited in their abilities. They might be great at very specific tasks,
Yeah.
but lack the broader understanding or general problem-solving skills of more advanced AI.
So we could have AIs that are brilliant at, say, predicting the stock market trends,
Yeah,
but can't figure out how to make a cup of coffee.
exactly. And that brings us back to the importance of context and specialized training.
Yeah.
The way an AI is trained, the data that it's exposed to will shape its capabilities and limitations.
It's a reminder that even as AI becomes more advanced, humans will still play a vital role in shaping its development.
Right.
And guiding its application.
Absolutely. We need to be thoughtful about the values and goals that we embed in AI systems.
Right.
Because those systems will ultimately reflect our own biases and aspirations.
Speaking of practical implications, let's delve into the impact of AI on the job market.
Okay.
You know, the source material mentioned AI being the biggest disruptor yet. And I think that's something a lot of people are worried about.
It's a valid concern. We've already seen AI automating tasks in various industries,
Right.
from manufacturing to customer service. And as AI becomes more sophisticated,
Right.
it's likely to impact a wider range of jobs, even those that require, creativity and critical thinking.
So what does that mean for someone who's, say, starting their career today?
Yeah.
What skills should they be focusing on to stay ahead of this AI wave?
I think it's not just about learning specific technical skills.
Okay.
It's about developing those uniquely human qualities that AI struggles to replicate.
Okay.
Things like adaptability, emotional intelligence complex, problem-solving creative thinking.
Okay.
These will become even more valuable in an AI-powered world.
So instead of competing with AI, we need to figure out how to collaborate with it, leverage its strengths, and focus on what we humans do best.
Precisely, think of it as a partnership where AI can handle those repetitive data-driven tasks,
Okay.
freeing up humans to focus on the more strategic, creative, and interpersonal aspects of work.
But wouldn't that kind of shift require a major overhaul of our current education systems and workforce training programs?
It's a systemic change that needs to start now.
Yeah.
We need to equip future generations with the skills and mindset to thrive in a world where AI is a constant collaborator, not just a potential competitor.
Right.
And that includes not only technical skills,
Okay.
but also the ability to critically assess information, understand ethical implications, and navigate the evolving landscape of work.
It's almost like we need to rethink our entire concept of work itself. Will traditional jobs become obsolete?
Right.
Will we need to redefine the work week?
Yeah.
Will we even need to work as much as we do now?
These are all valid questions, and the answers are likely to be complex and constantly evolving.
Right.
But I think it's exciting to consider the possibilities.
Okay.
Imagine a future where AI handles the mundane tasks, free up human to pursue their passions, contribute to their communities, explore new frontiers of knowledge and creativity.
It's a utopian vision for sure.
Right.
But is it realistic, or are we headed towards a dystopian future where AI takes over, leaving humans behind?
That's where our choices come in.
Okay.
We have the power to shape the future of AI, to guide its development in a direction that benefits all of humanity.
Right.
And that starts with informed discussions, ethical considerations, and a willingness to adapt and evolve alongside these powerful technologies.
So it's not just about technological advancements, it's about societal choices, ethical frameworks, and a shared vision for the future?
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that AI is not some external force acting upon us.
Right.
It's a reflection of ourselves, our values, our aspirations, and our fears. The way we choose to develop and deploy AI will ultimately shape the kind of world we create.
It's a powerful reminder that even as we discuss these complex topics, we're not just talking about abstract concepts.
Right.
We're talking about shaping the very future of humanity.
That's what makes this whole conversation so fascinating and so crucial.
Right.
We're at a pivotal point in history where the choices we make today will have profound consequences for generations to come.
It's almost like we're writing the next chapter in the story of human evolution.
Right.
And AI is a major character in that story.
And like any good story, there are elements of mystery, excitement, and even a touch of danger.
A little bit of suspense.
But ultimately, it's a story about our own potential, our capacity for innovation, and our responsibility to shape the future we want to create.
Speaking of responsibility, we talked earlier about the need to instill compassion and ethical values in AI systems.
Yes.
But what about the humans who are developing and deploying these systems? What role does ethics play in their decision-making?
That's a critical point. It's not enough to simply talk about ethical AI.
Right.
We need to ensure that the people building and using these technologies are guided by strong ethical principles. And that requires a shift in mindset from a purely technical focus to a more holistic approach that considers the broader societal implications of AI.
So we need engineers who are also ethicist developers who are also philosophers.
It's not necessarily about everyone becoming an expert in every field, but it's about fostering collaboration and interdisciplinary thinking. We need to bring together diverse perspectives from technologists to social scientists to artists to ensure that AI development is grounded in a deep understanding of human values and the complexities of our world.
It sounds like a tall order.
It is.
But it's also an incredibly inspiring challenge.
It is.
It's about harnessing the power of AI to solve problems, improve lives, and create a more just and equitable world.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that AI is not a panacea, but a powerful tool that needs to be wielded with wisdom, compassion, and a deep sense of responsibility.
I love that perspective. It's a reminder that even as we delve into the technical complexities of AI, we can't lose sight of the human element, the values that guide our choices, and the vision for the future that we want to create.
And that vision should be one where AI empowers humanity, enhances our capabilities, and helps us solve the grand challenges that we face, from climate change to social inequality to the exploration of the vast universe.
It's a vision worth striving for.
It is.
And it's one that requires us to embrace complexity, to think critically, and to engage in thoughtful discussions about the future we want to build.
And speaking of thinking critically, let's circle back to a point we touched on earlier. The potential of AI to surpass human intelligence. It's a concept that sparks both awe and anxiety. But it also raises a fundamental question: what is intelligence anyway?
That's a question that philosophers have been grappling with for centuries.
I know.
And it's one that becomes even more relevant as we develop AI that can learn, adapt, and solve problems in ways that rival or even exceed human capabilities.
Right. We often define intelligence based on our own human-centric perspective. But what if there are other forms of intelligence? Other ways of processing information and understanding the world that we haven't even conceived of yet?
It's like that saying, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. We might be limiting our understanding of intelligence by trying to fit it into a human-shaped box.
And as we develop AI that operates outside of those human-defined parameters, it could challenge our very assumptions about what it means to be intelligent.
It's both exhilarating and a little bit terrifying to think about, isn't it?
It is.
We're venturing into uncharted territory, and the possibilities are endless.
It's a journey of discovery, both for AI and for ourselves. And who knows, maybe in the process of trying to understand artificial intelligence, we might even gain a deeper understanding of our own human intelligence.
That's a thought-provoking idea. We often focus on the potential of AI to surpass us. But what if it actually helps us better understand ourselves?
It's a fascinating possibility, and it reminds us that AI is not such a technological advancement. It's a mirror reflecting our own complexities, our aspirations, and our quest to understand the universe and our place within it.
Wow, it feels like we've gone from, AI assistance to pondering the very nature of intelligence itself.
It really does.
This deep dive has been a wild ride.
It has.
We started by talking about the spectrum of AI intelligence, and now it feels like we're questioning the spectrum of intelligence overall.
And what's fascinating is AI might not just catch up to human intelligence. But redefine it altogether. Imagine AI solving problems. In ways that we can't even conceive of. Revealing new dimensions of intelligence that we never knew existed.
It's like AI could be the ultimate outside-the-box thinker, breaking free from all of our human limitations, but where does that leave us?
That's where the real conversation begins, I think. Instead of fearing obsolescence, we could embrace AI as a partner in pushing the boundaries of knowledge and understanding.
So instead of asking, will AI surpass us? We should be asking, what can we achieve together?
Exactly. Imagine collaborating with AI to unravel the mysteries of the universe. To develop sustainable energy solutions, to personalize education and healthcare in ways that we can only dream of today.
Now that's a future I can get excited about.
Right.
But let's not forget the potential downsides. We talked earlier about the impact of AI on the job market. And there are valid concerns about economic disruption and inequality.
Absolutely. And that's why it's crucial to have these conversations now to anticipate the challenges and proactively develop solutions. We need to consider things like universal basic income, reskilling programs, new models of economic distribution.
It's like we need to create a safety net, not just for those who might lose their jobs to AI, but for society as a whole as we navigate this transition.
And it's not just about financial safety nets.
Right.
It's about ensuring equal access to the benefits of AI. We need to avoid a future where AI exacerbates existing inequalities, creating a divide between those who have access to its power and those who don't.
So it's not just about building smarter AI, it's about building a fairer and more equitable society alongside it.
Exactly.
But let's get back to that question of compassionate AI.
Okay.
Is it even possible to create AI that genuinely cares about human well-being?
It's a complex issue. Some believe that we can instill these ethical principles into AI algorithms, while others argue that true compassion requires a level of consciousness that AI may never achieve.
So it's not just about programming rules, it's about fostering something deeper.
Right.
Something that resonates with human values and empathy.
Precisely. And perhaps in striving to create compassionate AI, we might even deepen our own understanding of compassion and its role in shaping a better future.
It's almost like the process of developing AI is forcing us to confront our own values and aspirations, to ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to create, not just for ourselves, but for the generations that will follow?
And that's ultimately what this deep dive has been all about, encouraging you to think critically.
Yes.
Ask those tough questions and engage in this ongoing conversation about AI and its impact on humanity.
We've covered a lot of ground, the spectrum of AI intelligence.
Right.
The potential benefits and risks, the ethical considerations, and the big philosophical questions that AI raises about the very nature of intelligence and our place in the universe.
And it's just the beginning. AI is a rapidly evolving field.
Right.
And the conversation is constantly evolving with it.
So what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with?
I'd say it's this: AI is not just a technological advancement.
Okay.
It's a mirror reflecting our own potential, our challenges, and our responsibility to shape the future. Engage with it thoughtfully, critically, and with a sense of wonder, because the future of AI is ultimately the future of humanity.
Beautifully said. And for you, dear listener, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going, because the future of AI is not something that happens to us. It's something we create together. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.